Hello, I think we're recording. So we're back. My name is Stephanie Gray, and this is Leela Harris, and we are here to just sort of chat and talk about today the shift that is happening in the world, humanity, and pretty much in every aspect of our lives, it feels like things are changing, and they're changing quickly and dramatically, and sort of maybe just spitball how things are going for each of us and what we're doing to sort of stay as balanced as possible, and maybe some insights about what we have and just to talk. So we'll just open it up and
it just feels to me like there's this almost snowball effect of things happening, just things getting unveiled, things getting revealed. There's whistleblowers all over the place, and I really admire people's courage and the risks they're taking to speak the truth. So many things are happening, and there's also a lot of it's related to suffering and darkness and lies and ways that we've been manipulated or believe things, one thing is true, and then finding out there's different points of view, different things going on, and then there's just so many different points of view about what's going on. And so that can be pretty overwhelming if we're constantly engaging in the information and the media.
Yeah, and I think you hit on a good point, which is everyone I think has an opinion as to what's going on, and so do I. And to get caught up in the swirl of that and just to continue, sort of fighting to keep what was continuing, I don't think is going to serve us. I don't think it's going to do us any good at this point.
Especially if it's something that we've held on to, or a way of life that's been there for a long time. It can feel really destabilizing to have that challenged. And I think that's where people can get caught up in defending it and explaining it. And I think when we defend a lot, that's one way that we're maybe protecting something that we're deep down we know is not true. I've just seen that in myself when I get really defensive about something or I feel like I have to help people understand, or I have to explain this to them. There's usually something behind that, just something I've noticed. And I'm just thinking of all the things that can go on internally as we're being exposed to different information.
Yeah. And, I think no matter how you slice it and what your thought as far as what it is or what's going on, the bottom line is it's hurting. It hurts to feel this sort of watching this disintegration of what we thought was, and realizing that it possibly never was. And I'm talking about just basically the whole system, at least in America. And I know in the West too. I mean, things are just crumbling before our eyes. And I think part of the reason that I wanted to talk about this today, there's two parts. One is, just to say that it is hard to see. It is hard to witness. It's hard to be with. And what are some of the things we can do to make it a little easier? But also to just to say, it's okay to feel grief too, and sadness, and to feel those things, and then perhaps look to the fact but maybe this is happening to start and create something else, something completely different that we had no idea was coming down the road.
Because it feels like, to me, it feels like things that are not working and are not healthy and are not benefiting us as in our human potential and what's possible. A lot of them are just falling apart. And to me, that's positive. The different things that people go through, of course, in that are involved in it or affected by it, or their livelihoods are affected by it. Yeah,
Sure.
that could be a lot of suffering that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and personally, I started my dive into this sort of seeing how things were shifting and changing and unstable about 7 years ago, and it was eye opening. It was hard for me to see. It was hard for me to take in, and it's happened in a very gradual way. It's still happening. Things are still being revealed that I thought were one way, and it's now another way.
And that, who knows what else we're going to see that we might have assumed or
was a certain way and is not.
Yeah.
So it's like what is up is down and vice versa. and I think I waited a long time for things to right themselves. Like things are going to get back to normal. Just ride this out. And the thing that shifted for me in the last couple of years is I truly don't believe that there is that sort of normal left.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to be doom and gloom type of person. I actually believe that we're in the process of an evolution type of thing, a grand shift that happens. I mean, it happens with our species, with our planets.
We're in the middle of a huge time in our human history.
Yeah.
I really feel that. But I used to think, okay, then everyone's waking up.
Yeah.
The world is waking up and everything's going to get better, as if like this shift is going to be just a short time.
Yeah, like a blip, and then
I realize actually I have no idea how long this will last. Right. Whether it's like 10 years or 100 years or 500.
That's right.
That sense of time just isn't there anymore. So there is more of a deeper feeling of the unknown of that. Yeah.
Definitely. And a feeling of to call myself back home so that I can personally deal with the waves of all of this transition that's happening. And I feel like that the thing that has shifted the most is that I am not waiting for that sort of normalization to happen again, and rather I'm putting my focus on how do I want to be in the world? How can I take care of myself? Self-care, self-care, self-care. And then how can I be of service to this next phase of this transition that's happening? I think self-care is so important right now because it can be so overwhelming. If you're watching the news every night, if you're going to work and you're hearing it from all ends and angles and following politics, and the list goes on and on. I mean, we could sit here for 30 minutes
and there's so many
things
I notice just when I log on to social media, and there's so many things about, put your attention here, or this needs your attention, and all these things. And I know we've talked a lot about this before, where we get together and we talk about how we've both been trying to look inside and connect with, okay, what is really important, and letting all those voices go, that this is who you should be, this is how you should think, all of them, and really connect with, work through the emotions and the fears or whatever is going on, or pain, or the hurt and grief like that, but also connecting with, okay, what really feels right, not what someone else wants me to do, not what the outer agenda. And I know that sounds controversial to a lot of people who think to be a good person you should be like belonging to some movement or cause, but which is fine if it feels really right for you. But I know in me and Steph's journey, a lot of those things have not felt right for us and have not resonated, and we've been more on this very personal journey of going inward and keep going and working through so many things, and kind of like emptying ourselves of all these fears, of all the insecurities, but also all the ideas
and expectations. Yeah, it really is a spiral dance of going within and checking in and getting to know who we really are. Who am I? What is it that I am here to do? What is it that I want? What is it I don't want? It took so long, and I'm still unpacking it to find out what is really mine to do and what is it that I'm really interested in. And instead of doing it as a people pleaser, because that was such a big one for me. And, you know, I'm still shedding that skin. So it is an unfolding. It is a spiral. It is an unfolding, and it's something that doesn't just happen overnight, but it's seriously something that I feel we're all going to have to sort of be, hopefully, you know, just at least starting to dip your toe in, looking at maybe what is my part here. Yeah.
And what feels really right. And not draining ourselves doing things that might be, we're doing things because there's actually something there behind it and we're not wanting to see it. Trying to fix something. Whenever I'm like, I've got to fix this, you know, someone's sharing something going on, I'm a facilitator. If I feel something inside with a person that I'm helping or a friend, it's like, I really want to fix this. I really want them to feel better. I know it's something in me. It's something, it triggers something in me. It's mine. I know that because I used to not know that. And I know the consequences of trying to fix people, trying to fix their lives, trying to be their voice. It just wasn't working for me. And it actually made me sick on many levels. And the people weren't actually being helped the way I thought I was helping, the way I told myself the stories I was telling myself.
Right.
But so that was part of a lot of my life experiences are basically lessons in codependency and me having to learn by going through them and feeling the consequences of that and coming to that place of I can't do this anymore, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you bring up a really good point, which is feeling into what is right for you. And a lot of that is reconnecting with our bodies and figuring out, boy, that interaction with that person just made me really, really tired. And then trying to discern why was that? Was it because I didn't really want to be there, or, you know, who knows what it was? But really,
but at least noticing that awareness is really helpful.
It is like, it's vital. And then that's from there, from just judging how excited or not, or keyed up or not, and how our bodies feel in certain situations will lead us to our truth. You know, and it's
the body is there's so much wisdom in the body. It's so much. And I think it's just difficult sometimes to be in the body when there's a lot of unresolved things. So so if someone's watching this and you have no urge to be in the body, that sounds awful. Or it's very hard for you, just know that there's, you know, you can explore ways to help yourself that can change. But there's just probably repressed emotions and thoughts there, and you're feeling them when when you drop down into the body and you start feeling. It's a lot of it's about feeling.
Yeah, and it's intense if you're not used to it. I mean, I'm talking from absolute experience now, but when you're used to being in your head a lot and you ground in your head and that's your safe spot, to go more into the heart space and to feel things in your body and to get clues from there. As well as sort of emotional clues too. It's a whole learning curve, really.
It's basically like two different universes. Like up here and here, it's just a whole different world. And actually, it's really incredible, even though it's very challenging. Because that's also where our joy is, and where loving ourselves and just being who we are, and all those things, the worries and all those things, it's like the mind distracts us with, it just kind of dissolves when you're able to really kind of sink into the body.
And that's how you can, and I mean, my gosh, we could do a whole video, and maybe we will, on working with, you know, the body and how to do that. But you're right. I mean, there is a joy that springs up from that, even as hard and unusual as it may be to work in that way. It is amazing. Like I would not change anything that I've done and that I've gone through. It's been rough, but at the same time, it has been the most joyous thing. It's hard to even put into words because it's not from here. It's from here. And I really feel like that is part of what this new paradigm, evolution, whatever this new thing that's happening, is calling us to do, to really go within, discern what is ours, discern what is truth for us, because it's different for every single person, and to get more creative, to work in our bodies more, and to just move from that place and see what wants to happen. Yeah. So, do you have any other thoughts or tricks or tools or anything you want to impart before we?
Well, one thing, and basically noticing, like you talked about noticing, sometimes I call it observing, and sometimes I call it the witnessing awareness, is that you notice when, wow, I was triggered by that, or like, whoa, just bringing in more of that awareness, or I got really hooked in to something. So just that awareness itself does a lot. We don't even need to kind of immediately have an answer for that. It's just noticing, okay. Yeah. And I feel like existence supports us when we can get into that intention of, yeah, I want to work through this, or I want to stop reacting, or I want to stop getting pulled into it. And we might feel like we still get trapped into those things, but at least having that intention in your heart, I think that you get supported in whatever's showing up in our lives, and in the world stage is supporting us, because I know there's so much talk about being in the light and being divine and love and all these things, and that's great, but a lot of how we get there is through darkness.
Yeah,
I don't
think you can escape that.
The pain, the darkness, seeing it, feeling it, seeing how we've been part of it. I know there's a lot of talk about waking up the world and the bad that's going on in the world, but we're not separate.
Right.
The light and the dark is also inside of us. So to me, the best thing we can do, in my opinion, and how I work, is the best way to bring more consciousness and bring more light is to work through our own inner darkness. Whatever that is, or however that is.
Right. And again, we could do a whole other video on shadow work and stuff like that.
Maybe we'll do that.
And maybe we will. That sounds actually like fun. But I mean,
it can be fun.
It can be fun. It can be. You can make it so it's not so scary. And we both have tools. That's how we work. That's how we offer. That's one of the things we offer in this world. So, but yeah, it's about awareness. It's just take a step or two and give it a shot. And if you need help and assistance, there are many, many people out there helping right now. And go to our links and see, and we'd be happy to chat with you, email with you. But we've all, I think we're all starting, well, at least a lot of us are starting to become aware of the fact that, okay, maybe this isn't going to go back to normal. What do I need? What is my part to do? What do I need to do here? And what's next? How can I move forward? Yeah. And,
Whew, wonderful. Yeah. Great questions to ask ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And do you want to talk about what you do offer?
Well, sure.
For anybody watching this that doesn't know.
Yeah, we can both do that, I guess. So I basically what I offer is working with a few things, actually. Process art, which is art for the sake of just making art. It's not about making a pretty picture. Process art, heart-based, heart-centered questions. So if you're feeling stuck, we can talk about that, and just active listening. Just really, I feel like one of the big things that's mine to do in this transition is to just be there with people, because I know it's crazy and feels weird and stuff, and I feel like I can help just by holding space.
Just having that, knowing that this person isn't going to judge me. They're just going to let it unfold how it needs to be. I'm safe.
Yeah.
And giving that to people is
absolutely
just huge, actually. Yeah. Because deep down, there's something that knows already what we need to do.
Yeah.
And just when we know that feeling of, okay, I'm safe, I'm not, whatever comes out, going to be okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'll just say one more thing, which is reach out. Don't try and do this on your own. You don't have to reach out to us necessarily, but reach out to someone who you feel safe with if you're wanting to talk about all this and start working, because it goes so much easier when you have allies and pockets of community that you can talk to.
Yeah.
It really, really, really does help.
And not talking about the issues themselves and hatching them out.
Yeah.
That's, if you wanting to do that, that's fine, but we're talking about something very different.
Yeah.
We're talking about something, it's like what's going on inside.
Yes. So why don't do you want to talk just briefly about what you offer? And Yeah,
I'm a Dalian method facilitator, so I do Dalian method sessions, and the Dalian method is a process that helps people release those trapped emotions and thoughts that are having a hard time being released and that we're struggling with. And it's also something people can work with on their own. And I also provide workshops and presentations and such. So and you can visit us on our website if you want to learn more about us.
Yeah, those links will be at the end of the video or
we'll put it at the video. Yeah. Anything else? Final words?
Final words.
Oh, it's already been.
Oh yeah, it's been a while. Okay, so we'll jump off. But final words for me were just hang in there. Self-care. It's not selfish. And reach out. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for taking the time in your busy schedule to listen to us.
Thank you.